When it is necessary to replace the piercing tip on your shear, perform the following procedures for proper fit and installation. Remove the blades using a breaker bar and torque multiplier. Remove any dust and debris from the blade seats by wiping them down with a rag and solvent. Lightly file deformities from blade seat edges. Do not sand or grind the face of the blade seats. Install new, clean blades. Lubricate the threaded holes in the tip and bottom of the bolt head where it will contact the tip. Next, push the blades up and in to the upper and rear surfaces of the seats and snug the lubricated blade bolts by hand to hold them in place. Torque the bolts to 1/3 of the final torque value. Check to make sure the blades have a firm contact against the blade seats. With a feeler gauge, confirm a gap of 0.02 of an inch to 0.10 of an inch where the blades meet at the piercing surface. A very narrow gap may be confirmed by shining a flashlight from below the blades and seeing the light pass through the gap. If the gap exceeds 0.10 of an inch, call the Genesis Service Department. If no gap exists, remove the blades, lightly grind facing surfaces, and repeat until the proper gap is attained. Once the gap is acceptable, torque the bolts to 2/3 the final value and then to the final value using a cross bolt pattern. Piercing tip bolts must be lubricated and torqued as specified in your owner's manual. Correct clamping force is required to keep the tips from moving on their seats. Over-tightening can cause bolt shanks to stretch, thus losing their clamping force, and loose bolts will cause the seating areas to erode, so it is imperative to keep your blades properly lubricated and torqued to exact specifications.